The great health food scam you fall for every day. Number 8. Brown bread. When healthy is just a paint job. You see a loaf of brown bread and think, nice, whole grain, great for the heart. But here's the twist. That brown color? It doesn't always come from whole grains. Sometimes, it's just artificial caramel coloring doing all the heavy lifting. Yep. It's basically makeup for bread, applied to make it look healthy, not to be healthy. The word multigrain sounds smart and nutritious, but all it really means is, there are several types of grain in there. It doesn't say whether those grains are whole or stripped of everything good. In many cases, it's still just white bread, only wearing a brown disguise. A disguise designed to fool your eyes and your conscience. The darker the bread looks, the more people assume it's healthier. But unless the label clearly says 100% whole grain, you're probably just chewing on white bread in a whole grain costume. Some types of caramel coloring, especially Class 3 and IV, have been linked to health concerns when consumed in large amounts, including potential carcinogens like 4-MeI. Bottom line, not everything brown is wholesome. And the food industry? They know exactly how to dress up a loaf to make you feel healthy, even when you're not. And that's just the first slice of a much bigger sandwich of nutritional scams. Number 7. Fruit juice. Liquid candy in a natural disguise. A glass of pure orange juice sounds like something nature designed for your health, right? But in reality, it's more like candy in disguise. Sweet, concentrated, and wearing a natural label to make you feel better about drinking it. One glass of OJ can have as much sugar as a can of soda. Most people don't notice, because the sugar technically comes from fruit. So it feels safer, healthier. But here's the kicker. It's not just the amount of sugar, it's how your body receives it. When you eat a whole orange, you also get fiber, the stuff that slows sugar down and keeps your blood sugar from spiking. But when you juice it, the fiber gets left behind. What you're left with is a fast-track shot of fructose, like a tiny sugar bomb straight to your liver. Ironically, a lot of people choose juice over soda because they think it's healthier. But your body doesn't care where the sugar looks like it came from. Whether it's orange juice or high fructose corn syrup, your liver's still stuck doing the cleanup. Bottom line, orange juice isn't really orange anymore. It's just cleverly bottled sugar in a sunny disguise. Number 6. Frozen yogurt. The healthy dessert in disguise. You think you're making a smart choice when you go for frozen yogurt instead of regular ice cream. It sounds healthy, but the truth isn't nearly as sweet. In fact, many frozen yogurts have even more sugar than regular ice cream. Why? Because when manufacturers remove the fat to make it seem healthier, they have to make up for it with, yep, extra sugar. Lots of it. And then you think, I'll just add some fruit on top. That makes it better, right? That's exactly how the calorie trap snaps shut. Granola might look like a heart-healthy topping, but some versions have just as much sugar as a cookie. And dried fruit? That's basically candy, just with a nature-themed marketing campaign and the word natural shouting at you from the label. The result? You walk out with a healthy dessert that's basically a sugar bomb in disguise, right up there with a can of Coke. Plus, a bonus side of self-congratulation for thinking you made a smart choice. But here's the real danger. Because it feels healthy, you're more likely to eat more, without thinking twice. It's a sweet little lie, literally. And sadly, frozen yogurt is just the opening act in a much longer lineup of fake healthy foods we fall for way too easily. Number 5. Granola. The calorie trap with a healthy sticker. You tear open a bag of granola. It's crunchy, smells amazing, and looks exactly like something out of a clean-eating Instagram reel. Walnuts, oats, a drizzle of honey. The kind of breakfast that makes you feel like you've got your life together. But here's something you might not know. Granola was originally designed for hikers, like actual mountain hikers. And yep, its calorie count matches that job description. Even a tiny serving can pack over 20 grams of sugar and nearly 300 calories, more than enough to fuel a long trail hike. Too bad your next adventure is just from the kitchen to your laptop. Most store-bought granola is loaded with vegetable oils, sweeteners, and flavor enhancers to make it way too easy to overeat. It's crunchy, fragrant, just chewy enough, and basically a bougie cousin of the candy bar. And yet, people casually dump half a bag into their almond milk. With zero clue, they just inhaled the calorie load of a full-blown hike. To be fair, granola isn't the villain here. But it's definitely not the clean-eating angel it pretends to be. And that's just breakfast. Wait till you find out what your healthy snacks have been hiding. Number 4. Veggie chips, when color tricks your brain. You see a bag labeled veggie chips, with pictures of purple beets and golden carrots, and think, finally, a way to snack without guilt. But hold up. What you're about to eat has almost nothing to do with actual vegetables. Most veggie chips aren't lightly dried produce, gently preserved for your health. They're deep-fried, machine-molded, salted, and dyed to look like veggies. In reality, the main ingredient is still good old potatoes. And potatoes? They've always been masters of disguise. Once they've gone through high-heat processing, whatever fiber or vitamins they had don't stand a chance. Some veggie chips actually contain more fat and sodium than regular potato chips, making them even less healthy than they look. But thanks to the rainbow coloring and the bold word veggie on the bag, you feel like you're making a smart choice. In truth, you're just crunching into a costume party version of regular chips, dressed like they're headed to Coachella. Sometimes, what makes a snack seem healthy is just the color. And in the food world, color isn't always about nutrients. It's often about managing your guilt. Number 3. Protein bars, candy in gym clothes. You just walked out of the gym, sweat still fresh, and you're already unwrapping a protein bar like it's your well-earned nutritional reward. It feels so on track, so scientific. But take a closer look at the ingredients list. Refined sugar, artificial sweeteners, palm oil, saturated fats, and a supporting cast of additives that reads like the credits at the end of a Marvel movie. The protein part might make up only 20 to 30% of the bar. The rest? A chemical cocktail wrapped in shiny foil with the word FIT slapped on it. Some bars pack as much sugar as a Snickers, just with less joy. This isn't fuel for muscles. It's a candy bar dressed like it goes to the gym. A snack in Under Armour, loitering in the health aisle like it just finished a deadlift. And thanks to clever sports nutrition branding, it makes you feel like you're doing your body a favor, when really, you're just snacking in disguise. But don't take off your gloves just yet. The next item on the list is even sneakier. It's something labeled detox, fresh, and natural. But under the label, it's not that different from soda. Number 2. Gluten-free doesn't always mean better. There's one label that instantly makes people feel safe, whether they understand it or not. Gluten-free. From bread and crackers to juice and chips, everything these days seems to wear that label like a badge of health. But here's the thing, most people forget. Unless you're allergic to gluten, you don't actually need to avoid it. Gluten is a protein found in wheat, barley, and rye. For people with celiac disease, a serious autoimmune condition, gluten is genuinely harmful. But for the rest of us, it's just protein. Not dangerous. Not magic. Just protein. Cutting it out won't suddenly make you healthier. In fact, many gluten-free products are worse than you'd expect. They're often made with refined starches like white rice flour or tapioca, ingredients that have little to no fiber and can spike your blood sugar like a bottle of soda. One study even showed that some gluten-free baked goods had higher glycemic indexes than their wheat-based counterparts. So really, you're just trading one familiar villain for a bland mystery carb that isn't doing you any favors. But in a world where marketing beats medicine, looking clean has somehow become more important than being healthy. Avoiding gluten won't make you better. It just gives you the illusion of making a good choice. And sometimes, that illusion is the sneakiest part. Number 1. Coconut sugar and agave. New names, same old sugar. If giving sugar a fancy new name could make people feel better about eating it every day, then the food industry deserves an award for marketing genius. Agave nectar. Coconut sugar. Names that sound like they belong in a smoothie bar next to a yoga studio. But let's be real, they're still sugar. Just sugar in a bathrobe, pretending it's on vacation. Let's start with agave. It's often praised for having a low glycemic index, meaning it supposedly won't spike your blood sugar like regular sugar does. Sounds promising, until you learn it's made up of 85 to 90% fructose. That's the same kind of sugar that can mess with your metabolism when overconsumed. And the reason high fructose corn syrup became public enemy number 1. So yeah, you're just swapping one sugar villain for another, sneakier one. What about coconut sugar? Sure, it contains a few minerals, but around 80% of it is still sucrose, aka the same white sugar you were trying to break up with. The truth is, we're not really cutting back on sugar. We're just trying to avoid the guilt. And we do that by choosing the version that wears a more natural disguise. And unfortunately, some people end up consuming more of it, thinking it's clean or less bad, which only makes things worse in the long run. Here's the harsh reality. Your body doesn't care if the sugar came from a coconut tree, a blue agave plant, or a lab beaker. Your liver still sees it the same way, a metabolic headache,